from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Making headlines this morning, 2 people stabbed multiple times on San Antonio's west side overnight. Details coming up.
The Biden administration has lifted the COVID travel ban for dozens of countries. I'm Micah Parsons reporting in Washington. Coming up, the battle to protect the administration's vaccine mandate.
And taking a look outside with live cam this morning, we are in the 50s, not as cold as it has been, and some patchy fog out there to watch out for.
And a good morning to you. It is Tuesday. It is November 9th. And if you don't have fog, it feels like it wants to be kind of foggy out there today.
Yeah, slightly humid out there this morning.
Yes, we agree. Right now, Mike is here with more on our Tuesday forecast. How are you?
Good. And yes, I mean, you walk out, it's like, it's not like it hits you in the face, but
a little bit.
It's a whole lot different than yesterday in the past couple of days. And yes, we do have some fairly thick fog once again this morning in places. And the Weather Service had indicated earlier that definitely looking at, there's nothing posted right now, but looking at maybe an advisory to be posted for the fog. As you can see off in the distance, that hazy look there. Not bad out at the airport. Once again, same thing ran out, but New Braunfels is already down to a quarter-mile visibility. Bernie Stage, 5 miles, 3 Castroville, so it's a little bit thicker. And it's still kind of patchy, but thicker than what it was at this time yesterday in certain places. Victoria, some, Beeville, and not bad in the hill country as of right now. So don't be surprised if a fog advisory is issued within the next probably an hour and a half or so. Temperature stands at 56. Yesterday we did dip down to 49 degrees. The normal is in the low 50s. So yes, we are on the warm side of things. 58 right now, Helotes and Comfort, 60 up the road in Kerrville. Mold is on the low side from yesterday's count. And this morning, it's still jacket weather just because it's kind of that sort of dampish cool with some of that extra humidity out there and some patchy fog. So you may be turning the corner and run into some of that. So don't be surprised by that. And we're going to keep a lot of clouds around today. I think that keeps temperatures down just a notch or two, but still 76 degrees. It will definitely be on the warm side. Speaking of warm, tomorrow's really going to warm up, preceding the next cool front. Details in just a couple of minutes. Steph, Mark.
Thank you, sir. New this morning, San Antonio police say 2 people are in critical condition following a stabbing overnight. It happened just before 10 p.m. in the 8700 block of Marbach near Garden Brook Drive on the city's west side. SAPD says a man showed up to his ex-girlfriend's apartment and stabbed her several times, then stabbed himself several times. Police say officers found the woman unconscious due to loss of blood. Both were taken to the hospital. SAPD says if they survive, the man would face several charges, including aggravated assault and attempted murder. Pfizer will be seeking FDA authorization for its booster shot for most adults as soon as this week.
The news comes as the U.S. finally reopens its borders to dozens of countries. ABC's Micah Parsons is in Washington with the latest.
For 18 months, Bhavna Patel could only speak to her grandson on FaceTime. Now that American borders are reopening, the promise of actual FaceTime leaves her speechless.
I don't have words. Actually see in person, you don't know. And if they've woken him up and come and, so I said, just don't cry.
Emotional reunions, just like the Patels, seen in airports all over the country after the Biden administration lifted the COVID travel ban. Families and couples reuniting at JFK Airport. Cars in queue at the Canadian border. The return to normalcy fueled by the Biden administration's push to vaccinate. This morning, a U.S. government official telling ABC News Pfizer will seek FDA authorization for its COVID booster shot for everyone 18 and older as soon as this week. Children as young as 5 are now getting their first vaccine dose. In New York, pop-up vaccination sites at public schools. In Chicago, schools closing Friday to give parents time to vaccinate their children. This as the Justice Department responds to an appeals court which temporarily blocked enforcement of the Biden administration's rule requiring vaccines or weekly testing for people at companies with at least 100 employees, saying the decision would likely cost dozens or even hundreds of lives per day.
Congress empowered OSHA through a law that has been in the books for more than 50 years. So this is an authority that we believe that the Department of Labor has.
Still, the vaccine mandate's drawing ire from people. Protest in Los Angeles against a mandate for city workers. The TSA says 40% of its workers are unvaccinated, but a source telling ABC News that the potential firings coming from the November 22nd deadline for federal workers to get the shot won't affect Thanksgiving flights. Ika Jachi, ABC News, Washington.
Jurors were shown body camera video in day 2 of the murder case of Ahmaud Arbery. The 3 men accused of chasing and killing the 25-year-old were also in court. Jurors watched as investigators identified graphic images taken of Ahmaud Arbery's body. A police officer also testified that because the shotgun was covered in blood, fingerprints were not recovered from the weapon on scene. Father and son Greg and Travis McMichael and their neighbor William Bryan are charged with murder. Defense attorneys say Travis McMichael fired the gun in self-defense.
President Joe Biden and his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping will have a rare virtual encounter this week as they gather online with other Pacific Rim leaders. They're expected to chart a path to recovery out of the problems caused by the pandemic. New Zealand is hosting this year's Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Forum, which culminates in a leaders' meeting on Saturday. Because of coronavirus restrictions, this year's event is being held entirely online.
In Washington, Congress has created a new requirement for automakers find a high-tech way to keep drunk people from driving cars. It's one of the mandates, along with a burst of new spending aimed at improving auto safety and the $1 trillion infrastructure package that President Biden is expected to sign soon. Under the legislation, monitoring systems to stop intoxicated drivers would roll out in all new vehicles as early as 2026. That's after the Transportation Department looks into the best form of technology to install in millions of vehicles. 436, about 57 degrees.
And how a locally made product is putting a stop to those annoying hiccups.
And up next, a preview of this week's high school football action, plus how the San Antonio Spurs are helping kids in the community.
And taking a look outside with live cam, a little humid, not as cold as it has been, but still tolerable. However, watch out for that fog. We'll be right back.
The big game at our big game coverage this week. In the first week of the Texas high school football playoffs features number 3 and undefeated Johnson Jaguars against the number 8 ranked New Braunfels Unicorns. Jaguars one of 4 teams to finish the regular season at 10-0. They have a 1-2 offensive punch behind running back Ben McCreary, who has 20 touchdowns and 1,438 yards rushing, and quarterback Cruz Kirwan, who has 1,647 yards in the air for 19 touchdowns. The Braunfels Unicorns coming to the postseason with an 8-2 record, with their only losses to Smithson Valley and Steele, and they have a similar 1-2 punch in quarterback Aiden Bauman and running back Riker Purdy. They meet in the bi-district playoffs.
Phenomenal. I mean, just making school history, it's awesome, but knowing the goal we have in mind is all eyes on state, so we don't want to focus on anything else but one game at a time. So this is our mindset going into New Braunfels.
I expect us to come hit us in the mouth, and I'm to do the same. Our team's ready. We have a game plan. I trust my coaches. I trust my teammates, and I just know we're going to come out.
They're obviously a great team. They're 10-0. They're in a tough district. They got a lot of athletes. They can find a way to win. Should be a good challenge for us, but we can get it done.
Playing these teams that, usually go far in the district, our district usually goes far in playoffs, and this competition, really prepares us.
Jaguars host Unicorns at Heroes Stadium Friday night at 7. Our big game is also the KSAT 12 Texas Sports Production Game of the Week. You can watch that over the air on channel 12.2 or on the BGC app. The UTSA Roadrunner is now 9-0, ranked 15th in the country by the AP College Football Poll, moving up 1 spot from last week. That's after a dominating 44-23 win over UTEP on the road. Roadrunners in some pretty good company with number 1 Georgia, number 2 Cincinnati, number 4 Oklahoma, all 9-0 and well as well. They have a very good chance to go 10-0 when they host 1-8 Southern Miss in the Alamo Dome this Saturday afternoon, 2:30. Be interesting to see where the College Football Playoff Committee ranks the Roadrunners later today. And our Spurs teamed up with the city of San Antonio to renovate this court at West End Park with a new Spurs themed court. It's one of 40 Spurs branded courts and park refurbishments as part of the team's 4-year, $1 million commitment. Both Trey Jones and Zach Collins were on hand to help with a little basketball clinic that followed.
Being able to affect, kids' lives means the most to us. Like Zach was saying earlier today, it's not about, the player you are, but about the person you are. And I think things like this go much further in people's lives than, whatever we're going to do on the court.
And it's almost game day. Spurs welcome the Kings to the AT&T Center tomorrow night, starting at 7:30.
Go Spurs go. Time now 4:42 and about 57 degrees out there. Still ahead, how a new kind of straw is helping making those annoying hiccups go away.
And next, with the holidays fast approaching, a first look at weather. Airlines and airports have the staff they need to handle the surge in travel.
And welcome back. It's 4:45. According to AAA, holiday travel is expecting to be near pre-pandemic levels. But are the airlines and airports ready to handle the surge? ABC's Trevor Alt has the details in today's GMA First Look.
In this morning's GMA First Look, with the holidays fast approaching, will airlines and airports have the staff they need to handle the surge in travel? Questions are looming about vaccine mandates and if airports will have enough employees to handle that crush of passengers.
It's a busy time, and it's not likely to ease up as folks come out of the holiday season.
Hoping to smooth out travel, most major airlines in the U.S. are looking to fill positions by the end of the year, some even offering astronomical incentives to employees already on the payroll.
The disruptions, the flight attendant assaults, we said I think it's time to ensure and reward the flight attendants going forward, because it's been a tough 20 months.
And coming up at 7 a.m., we'll have the expert tips you need to know to navigate your holiday travel. With your GMA First Look, I'm Trevor Alt, ABC News, New York.
There are all kinds of home remedies for when you get the hiccups. Now, a local doctor has a solution.
As 12 on your side's Marilyn Morris shows us, it's a weirdly shaped straw inspired in part by McDonald's ice cream.
Do you have hiccups right now?
Hiccups are nothing to giggle at for twins Avery and Paige.
These little kids were getting hiccups every day, every single day, and often it would become painful, annoying.
Their mom, Pat Squire, says they tried all the home remedies.
Also cold water with the straw, with closing the ears. We did that.
Nothing worked well, so when she heard about this, the Hickaway, she was intrigued.
So I started with this.
It's the invention of Dr. Ali Saifi, a neurointensivist. It all began when he saw a patient suffering.
He said, "Doctor, I'm very okay with my brain surgery, but what hurts me now is this hiccup." He turned to me and said, "Doctor, can you help me, please?"
Hiccups begin with a diaphragm spasm. The nerves alert the brain to close the throat.
That's when you hear the hic sound in our throat.
So Saifi focused on how to interrupt the cycle.
How can I come with a device that keep the diaphragm and the valve in the throat busy at the same time?
These are from years of trial and error.
While working on his prototypes, he was inspired by his son's McFlurry. Take a look at this straw. Now, this will not cure the hiccups, but the engineering design, well, it was an inspiration.
He came up with this, a fat straw with a tiny, precise hole, so you have to suck 5 times harder than normal.
You need to, sip through it like... Right.
The pressure lowers the diaphragm and interrupts the hiccup cycle.
Sort of faking out the brain.
Yeah.
It's backed by science. A published study found it worked 9 out of 10 times. As for Avery and Paige, well, watch.
Are your hiccups gone?
Problem solved without a hiccup. Marilyn Moritz, KSAT 12 News.
And you can buy the Hickaway online or at HEB for about $10.
That is well worth it. Hey, don't forget, No Shave November continues. We'd love for you to make a donation to our team. Go to ksat.com/noshave for more information.
And it's coming in very nicely for you.
Working on it. Yeah, Mike, it started to bother you last week a little bit. Now I'm there. Yeah.
The little bit of, because we had a couple extra days since November 1st was on that Monday.
That's right.
That's
so,
true.
What's it, about 10, 11 days? 12 days almost?
Yeah. So it simplifies the morning routine. That's for
definitely.
sure.
Definitely. Down here, and that's it. So, and remember, Team Gray Hair.
Oh, Mike's asking for your donation.
Together. Yeah. Send donations. Anyway. Bragging rights for all. Anyway, one thing notice from this picture: do not take pictures while you are driving. And boy, it was a beautiful sunset, though. Other than driving and taking a picture, that's a no-no, folks. All right, look at the hay. It almost looks like this picture's gotten hazier just in the foreground right here in the past couple of minutes. Duke points, no, visibility. I'll get it right. Still thinking about my gray hair and donations. New Braunfels at quarter mile visibility right now. Bernie stage 5, 4 Castroville, 5 at Stinson. So almost the same places as yesterday have fog, and we're not really seeing a lot at the airport nor at Randolph, but that can change very, very quickly as, I mean, again, referring to yesterday, I know Bernie stage, you know, at 1 minute it was a half-mile visibility, and then 10 minutes later it was up to 7 miles and then back down again. So that's what we're going to be facing for the next couple of hours all the way through most of the morning commute. Last check, no advisories yet, but it's a similar situation to yesterday, so wouldn't be surprised, obviously, if we do get some advisories posted. Beeville, 2.5 miles and 3 miles visibility in Victoria. All right, so the humidity, yeah, you notice it when you step outside this morning. It's not oppressively humid, but enough out there, especially for the first couple of weeks of November. And it's going to be sticking around throughout the rest of today and also tomorrow, even into tomorrow night. Now, late tomorrow night is when we're going to get the front moving on through, and there is some dry air that's going to be coming on in here, and this computer model shows it pretty well. The other thing it also shows is we've got a lot of clouds sticking around today, so it's not going to be, there'll be some sunshine mixed in, but not as much as yesterday, it doesn't look like, and that's going to be sticking around through tomorrow morning, and then we'll see. I think this one kind of overdoes it. I think with some of the clouds we'll have more sunshine, looks like tomorrow. Now watch by late tomorrow night, and this line right there, that's the front moving through in the wee hours Thursday morning. Yeah, it's going to squeeze out 1 or 2 showers. I think most of us don't see anything as far as any rain from this front moving on through, and that's on Thursday. And then it's going to clear out quite nicely in the afternoon, get rid of some of the humidity, and also it's going to set us up for another fantastic weekend. So this will be 3 weekends in a row with really, really nice weather. 72 at noon today, mostly cloudy skies. Again, watch out for the fog this morning, and then 76 high temperature today. So yesterday, 77. I think we down maybe went down a couple of degrees or so just because of the extra cloud cover. Tomorrow we start off in the low 60s. And then we'll see a little bit more in the way of some sunshine, all the way up to 80. So it's going to be hot. We have not hit 80 in the month of November yet, but looks like that streak is going to change. And then the front moves through early Thursday. Nice looking on Veterans Day, 72 degrees, and then beautiful weather through the weekend.
Overall, nice.
Very nice.
We'll take it. Thanks, Mike.
452, about 57 degrees.
And coming up next, a Mighty Ducks actor reveals why he's not returning to the Disney Plus series. Plus, big news for Led Zeppelin fans.
Another milestone for Led Zeppelin. Plus, actor Emilio Estevez explains why he is not returning to a fan favorite series on Disney Plus.
For the latest on what's happening in Hollywood, here's ABC's Jason Nathanson.
I feel weird lately.
The new movie Violet is all about the voices in your head. Literally, Olivia Munn plays a woman tormented by doubt and insecurity, thanks to the voice in her head played by Justin Theroux. It's the directorial debut from actress Justine Bateman, who tells me the film has a personal message.
I'm trying to say that your negative thoughts in your head are lies, and that it is possible to transition from a life that has a foundation in fear-based decisions to a life that has a foundation in instinct-based decisions.
Violet is available today for streaming rental.
I'm guessing you didn't see the sign?
Emilio Estevez says he's not anti-vax. Word came last week that he would not be returning to the Mighty Ducks series on Disney+. Some reports said that it was because he didn't like the COVID vaccine requirement. He says in a statement to Deadline that's not the case. It's just a good old-fashioned contract dispute and creative differences. Led Zeppelin 4 now certified 24 times platinum by the RIAA, the equivalent of selling 24 million albums in the U.S. The news came Monday, the 50th anniversary of the album's release. And here's your annual reminder of one of the cutest things in Hollywood. Celebrity couple Nick and Vanessa Lachey both have birthdays today. She's 41, he's 48. And that's what's happening in Hollywood. I'm Jason Nathanson, ABC News, Los Angeles.
And time now, it's 4:56 and 57 degrees out there.
Still ahead this morning on Gmsa, the latest on the Houston Music Festival tragedy and how Houston police and fire were involved in safety measures for the festival.
Plus, a major big box retailer deciding to use driverless trucks for its online grocery business. Details ahead in Tech Bites.
Still ahead on GMSA at 6, renters may think they can't do any renovations to their place, but we'll show you what you can do to love where you live without costing you your deposit. That's coming up later on GMSA at 6.
And a quick look at the roads with TransGuide. There is I-10 at Frio and also I-10 at De Zavala. We'll be checking in with Stephen Cavazos after the break.
Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Making headlines this morning, the Houston Police Department now leading a criminal investigation into that deadly chaos at the Astroworld Music Festival.
Back here at home on your early Tuesday morning. Plenty muggy out there right now. It's been on the cool side. The problem this morning is going to be fog, and it's worse in some spots. Good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday, November 9th.
Thanks for joining us this morning. Happy Tuesday. My drive into work wasn't too bad, but it's a short one.
Mine's not too bad either. Didn't see any fog on my way in.
Well, I saw a little bit, but is it worse now, Mike?
In some places, New Braunfels is almost down to pea soup fog, and it's going to get thicker in some places. Still no advisories posted around the area. Temperatures are up compared to yesterday. We had dropped down to 49 yesterday. We're at 56 right now, and the normal average low is 52 degrees. And then look at the bottom number, dew point 55, temperature 56, and that's why that relative humidity is so very high, up 97%. No wind, and those are some of the ingredients in there to give us some of that fog. 76 for a high temperature today, and we are going to keep a lot of clouds around, unlike yesterday, and I think that'll keep temperatures down just a degree or so compared to yesterday. The aquifer on yesterday's reading dropped down a half a foot, and mold is on the low side. All right, visibility, and again, this is one of those situations where it's going to be changing every couple of minutes. We're at 5 miles at Stinson and still quarter mile New Braunfels. Randolph now has dropped down to 4 miles visibility, so fog is starting to move on in. So watch it around the airport on the near north side of town as this fog continues to creep off to the kind of moving in here from east to west. And Beeville, Victoria aren't bad as of right now, and for the time being out in the hill country, it's not too bad. Of course, yesterday we had a lot of very thick fog down around Carrizo Springs and Cotulla, but the morning's still young, and it's going to be sticking around, like I said, for the next couple of hours. So cloudy on the milder side, maybe still a jacket this morning just because it's sort of that dampish cool with some of that extra humidity out there and that patchy fog. Mostly cloudy, and it will be on the warm side, a few degrees above normal, a little more humidity. Not going to be very fallish today, and then it's going to get warmer tomorrow up to 80 here in town. Then we get a cool front to move through overnight into Thursday, and it may squeeze out a sprinkle or two. I kind of doubt that. And then we have some great weather setting up here, and that's going to extend on into the weekend. Another fantastic fall weekend. Details coming up in just a couple of minutes. Getting ready to hit the roads right now. The man, the myth, the legend.
Already a myth. Thanks, Mike. Makes me feel pretty special this morning.
But a legend, too.
Thanks for the introduction. Let's get a look around town. I-10 at Dominion Drive shows a pretty easy commute right now. We're definitely going to keep our eye out for the that fog that Mike's been talking about. But as we take a look around town, it is still pretty quiet for 5 o'clock this morning. Now, we are going to be keeping our eyes on a few things. Let's take you right to the map because we spotted just some issues out there. Now, a crash was detected a little bit earlier this morning here off US 281 southbound right at St. Mary's Street. Just checking the TransGuide cameras, it does look like it's pretty quiet out there. So that crash may have cleared out, or it could have just been something that our system detected. But either which way, make sure you're driving carefully and make sure you're checking those vehicles because we do have a stall right here off I-35 southbound at AT&T Center Parkway. Overall, morning started off pretty nice. I haven't seen any big issues that's going to cause any delays for that early morning drive. These inbound times are green across the board. 25 minutes from I-10 and Bernie. We have 25 on 281 from Bulverde and 26 on 35 from New Braunfels to the downtown San Antonio area. Taking one last look around town, US 90 at 36. Traffic still pretty light in a lot of these areas. Again, we're going to be keeping our eyes on for that fog that's out that Mike's been talking about and have some construction spots to be on the lookout for. Mark?
Thank you, Stephen. A man is behind bars this morning after police say he broke into and stole from 2 local restaurants over the past 2 months.
And Sarah Costa is live downtown with his mugshot. And Sarah, we understand he confessed to police about other break-ins as well.
Yes, good morning, Mark and Stephanie. Yeah, so when police took him into custody yesterday and began interviewing him, he not only admitted to breaking into 2 restaurants, but several other locations. So just take a look on your screen. This is 25-year-old Jose Marquez. Police arrested him yesterday after an officer saw him walking in a neighborhood on the city's south side near Roosevelt and the San Antonio missions. The officer recognized him as the man wanted in a handful of burglary cases. When they interviewed him and showed him surveillance photos at those 2 restaurants, Marquez confessed to police that he did commit those burglaries and several others. The 2 cases police have charged him with include his most recent break-in from this Saturday at a hometown burger on the city's south side. According to the affidavit, Marquez broke in by prying the bars off of the drive-through window where he told police he stole a laptop from the counter. He also confessed to a break-in at a Southside Bill Miller's barbecue in early October. The affidavit says Marquez broke in, triggered the restaurant alarm, and stole a tablet from the Bill Miller's barbecue. He was also caught on surveillance camera breaking into that Southside Bill Miller's location. Now he is facing 2 charges that are felonies of burglary of a building. Mark and Steph.
Now to the investigation into the deadly Astroworld concert. This morning we're learning new details about security concerns before the event.
The big question now, who's to blame? ABC Mona Kasar Abdi has the story.
As investigators in Houston piece together a timeline of the tragedy at the Travis Scott concert, ABC News has obtained a detailed operations plan for the music festival. The 56-page document shows key concerns, including, quote, the potential for multiple alcohol/drug-related incidents, possible evacuation needs, and the ever-present threat of a mass casualty situation. And, based on the site's layout and numerous past experiences, a security plan has been established to help mitigate potential negative issues. Under roles and responsibilities, the document reveals only the executive producer and the festival director had the power to stop the show. On Monday, Houston's fire chief said Travis Scott shares responsibility for the safety of the crowd.
If the lights would have been turned on, the promoter or the artist called for that, it would have chilled the crowd. And who knows? Who knows what the outcome would have been?
The crowd at Scott's performance Friday surged toward the stage, leaving fans knocked down and trampled. 8 people died, the youngest, 14-year-old John Hilger. Dozens were injured, including 9-year-old Ezra Blount. His family says he's fighting for his life after being trampled when he fell off his father's shoulders.
When we go to concerts and different events, we expect safety and security. And all the videos I've seen, I didn't see any security.
Multiple videos show the crowd pleading with Scott to stop the show as fans were in distress. It's unclear if Scott could hear them. The rapper at one point stopped the performance, but then continued. Scott issued a statement after Friday's tragedy saying he's, quote, devastated. He's now offering to pay for victims' funerals. Mona Kasar Abdi, ABC News, New York.
And many people who were at that concert are now left coping with the mental trauma. Survivors say they are haunted by the sights and sounds, and now they're having trouble eating and sleeping. According to Dr. Harry Croft, an expert in traumatic stress disorders, in order to help treat the symptoms, he says it is best to try and go back to your usual routine, even if it is difficult.
But I hope people will avoid the things which are likely to make your symptoms worse by isolating, withdrawing, getting together with the support system, taking care of your own physical and psychological needs.
And Dr. Croft says if necessary, he encourages people coping with this trauma to seek professional help.
Happening later tonight, we're talking redistricting in Texas. It can be a complicated process that's used to determine the political landscape of our state. And lately, it's become the subject of lawsuits by some civil rights groups. Stephanie Jimenez and Steve Spriester will host Out of Bounds: Repercussions from Redistricting. They'll talk to experts about what redistricting means for our area. KSAT will be live streaming the event starting at 7 right after the 6 p.m. news. You can watch it live on KSAT.com or on our KSAT streaming apps.
And time now, it's 5:09 and about 57 degrees out there.
So ahead, why Walmart's decided to use fully driverless trucks for its future business.
Also up next, when you hear about diabetes, it's usually type 1 or 2. We're going to tell you about another type that people have and what needs to be done to treat it.
Outside with Live Cam. Thanks for starting your day with us here on GMSA. Looking back at downtown San Antonio. Again, we're on the lookout for fog. Some of you might see it out your kitchen window right now. Mike's tracking it all, and we'll see how it affects the roads with Stephen. 5:12 right now. November is Diabetes Awareness Month, and while our area has high numbers of type 1 and type 2, did you know there are other forms of diabetes?
Ursula Perry explains why thousands of people don't fall into either category and how new treatments are being developed.
16-year-old Raquel Gabble doesn't let anything slow her down, doing all this while losing her eyesight.
I can tell there's a wall there, but if I was just sitting here and didn't know anyone was in the room, I wouldn't be able to tell you guys or tell you you're sitting there.
Diagnosed as a 5-year-old with Wolfram Syndrome, Raquel, with her mom by her side, has joined clinical trial after clinical trial, all in hopes of finding a way to stop this disease.
As a parent, you're sitting there going, what do you do with your child who can't see and can't hear?
Wolfram Syndrome is often misdiagnosed as type 1 diabetes in children. Children experience the same blood sugar problems, but unlike type 1 diabetes,
most cases are caused by a change in the single gene.
Now there's a new nationwide clinical trial, Radiant, which is enrolling thousands of people who fall on the diabetes spectrum. Researchers hope to build a comprehensive database of genetic and clinical data, allowing doctors across the world to more easily identify atypical forms of diabetes and identify new genes associated with the rare forms of the disease.
Sadly, most patients die by the age of 40 if their condition is not managed very well throughout their lives. And there's no cure, just medications to treat the symptoms. That's why these clinical trials are so important. And if you'd like to participate in one, we have one in Texas at the Baylor College of Medicine in Houston. Ursula Perry, KSAT 12 News.
5:14, about 57 degrees.
And still ahead, Google can now find your pet's look-alike in works of art. That's next in Tech Bites.
With clean, fresh ingredients, Panera's new chicken sausage and pepperoni flatbread is a mouth-watering explosion of yes. Craft? Yes. Heartiness? Yes. Living life to the flavor fullest? Heck yes. Panera. Live your yes. Now $1 delivery.
My new normal? Fewer asthma attacks with Nucala, a once-monthly add-on injection for severe eosinophilic asthma. Nucala reduces eosinophils, a key cause of severe asthma.
Nucala is not for sudden breathing problems. Allergic reactions can occur. Get help right away for swelling of face, mouth, tongue, or trouble breathing. Infections that can cause shingles have occurred. Don't stop steroids unless told by your doctor. Tell your doctor if you have a parasitic infection. They cause headache, injection site reactions, back pain, and fatigue. Ask your doctor about Nucala.
Find your new normal with Nucala.
Every business is on a journey, and along the ride, you'll find many challenges. Your Dell Technologies advisor can help you find the right tech solutions, so you can stop at nothing for your customers.
In today's Tech Bites, stock trading platform Robinhood says it was hit by a data breach that exposed information on millions of customers. The company says hackers demanded a ransom payment, but it says no social security numbers, bank account numbers, or debit card numbers were exposed. Walmart's self-driving trucks are hitting the road on their own. Human safety drivers are no longer being used in two vehicles that move through the streets of Bentonville, Arkansas. They are the retail industry's first truly driverless trucks being used on a commercial route. And finally, Google can now help you find your pet's look-alike in art. Google Pet Portraits will scan tens and thousands of historical works of art to identify your pet's long-lost twin. The feature works with dogs, cats, birds, fish, and more. It takes a few seconds to find several matches. Who knows? Maybe your dog lived another life. Those are your Tech Bites. Have a great day.
Now, that horse has more facial hair than any of us, but don't forget it's No Shave November.
Yeah, a good reminder.
Go to ksat.com/no shave for more.
And looking at some of those TransGuide cameras, I saw a little bit of fog here and there. Let's go ahead and check in with Stephen Cavazos.
Yeah, and just a quick shout out to our team, almost at that $3,000 mark as well. So again, a big thanks to the community for continuing to contribute to that cause. But let's take a look here at 35. While traffic is moving pretty smoothly through the area, it still looks pretty foggy out there. Mike's been talking about it throughout the morning. This is a shot at 35 at Evans going up towards New Braunfels. So of course, make sure that you are driving carefully out there. Take your time and avoid those distractions this morning. We are seeing some issues out on the roadways here at 519. I-35 southbound at AT&T Center Parkway. A stall still reported there, not too far along. We have a stall off I-35 northbound at Cesar Chavez Boulevard. These aren't causing any real big delays, but again, the last place you're going to want to be stranded is the highway, especially with some potential fog through some of these areas. We do have some construction alerts to be on the lookout for. This one started yesterday. Loop 410 southbound, the frontage road between Marbach Road to US 90, including the exit ramp to US 90 eastbound, are going to be closed for some construction. Now, this started overnight, but should be wrapping up by 6 in the morning. The completion date is expected to be tomorrow, so something to be on the lookout for. Now, let's take a big jump up here to Kendall County because there is some construction that started yesterday, some roadway construction that's actually led to the full closure of the exit at 540 to State Highway 46, otherwise known as Bandera Road. The traffic in the meantime will be diverted to US 87 exit ramp and use a scenic loop route road that is turnaround. Now, this construction should be wrapping up by December 6th, according to the TxDOT website. Taking a wider look at the map, it's still pretty green on the screen, so nothing too big that's going to cause any real delays at this moment. But again, be on the lookout for that fog and make sure that you're driving with your low beams. And again, avoid those distractions this morning, guys.
Yeah, and Stephen, that fog's definitely showing up in several of those TransGuide cameras.
Yeah, got to be careful. Thank you,
And
Stephen.
we're going to see more of it throughout the morning, too. And again, depends on where you are. Some areas don't have anything as of right now. So, all right, great picture, sunset, and also that little crescent moon, the waxing crescent moon. And the star next to it is actually the planet Venus, and it's going to be rising to the east, although coming up right after the sun, so you probably won't be able to see that. Then also, if conditions are just perfect, kind of in line with the moon and Venus, also Saturn and Jupiter this time of year, so you might be able to catch those. All right, looking off to the east, a lot of fuzz, a lot of haze out there, and visibility, well, now in Randolph has dropped to just a third of a mile, so it was at about 4 miles just about 10 minutes ago. Now it has dropped down almost a quarter mile. New Braunfels has actually improved ever so slightly. Still pretty good at the airport right now for the time being. Some around Bernie Stage, Stinson, Castroville, Pleasanton, and really the thickest fog is in and around our metropolitan area, and then also heading up in toward Austin. Nothing in the hill country as of right now. All right, computer model, and we're going to keep a lot of clouds around today. Some sunshine thrown in. I think that keeps us right about 76 or so for high temperature. Now, tomorrow morning, we'll have more clouds around, probably some fog. The humidity is still going to be sticking around here. It's going to be even warmer in the afternoon. I think we see a little bit more in the way of a couple of some sunshine mixed on in with the clouds, but still a fair amount of clouds hanging around here. Then tomorrow night into Thursday morning, this line right here, that's the front that moves on through, and it looks like it's going to move through fairly quickly or a little bit sooner than what we'd initially thought, and it may squeeze out a couple of showers as it slides through here, but that's not going to be a big deal at all as far as any rain is concerned. And I think we clear out pretty nicely in the afternoon on Thursday or even late morning, and we'll get rid of some of the humidity, and it's going to be very comfortable after that. So we've got the relatively high humidity right now. Front comes on through, then we get another sort of reinforcing shot of dry air coming in here for Saturday. That won't last very long because it looks like the humidity will start to make a bit of a return into the first part of next week, but then also another chance of rain maybe by about Monday, Tuesday of next week. So 72 degrees today at noon, mostly cloudy skies. And again, some sunshine mixed in, but leaning toward the cloudier side. 76 and enough humidity to where you're going to notice it. Tomorrow morning we start off in the low 60s, get up to 80. It is going to be very warm tomorrow. And then that front moves through early on Thursday. Maybe a sprinkly shower or two. That's going to be about it. And we'll hit a high temperature then on Veterans Day of 72 degrees. Great looking weekend is setting up, and then more clouds come in here and perhaps a few showers by Monday or Tuesday of next week.
But another great weekend. What a treat.
Yeah, another just fantastic fall weekend. Cool in the morning, great in the afternoon.
Awesome. Thank you, Mike. 523, about 57 degrees.
And still ahead in your morning spotlight, Patty Jenkins' Rogue Squadron gets delayed, plus the Foo Fighters are headed to the big screen.
Here are lottery numbers this morning. First time up. Let's take a look at those, starting off with, oh, we don't have them. We'll try to get them for you coming up. Star Wars fans will have to wait a little while longer for an upcoming film.
Here's CNN's David Daniel with the Hollywood Minute.
Because I've never had this experience before.
Star Wars fans may have to wait a bit longer for director Patty Jenkins' Rogue Squadron movie. The Wonder Woman director was supposed to begin production on Squadron next year, but according to The Hollywood Reporter, Jenkins' schedule conflicts have delayed that indefinitely. Rogue Squadron has a release date of December 22nd, 2023. It's scheduled to be the first theatrical Star Wars movie since The Rise of Skywalker in 2019.
How long do we have?
7 days.
Eternals will be around longer than that after one of the biggest opening weekends of the year. Star Salma Hayek praised the diversity of the Marvel movie's cast.
The fact that we are diverse just makes the family all the more interesting and rich.
Foo Fighters are headed to the big screen for the horror comedy Studio 666. They'll play themselves moving into a creepy LA mansion to record an album, but supernatural forces there could make it their last recording session. Studio 666 is due in theaters February 25th. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
527, about 57 degrees.
And still ahead on GMSA, the battle over Biden's vaccine mandate continues. We're going to take a look at the latest on the legal back and forth, how Texas is involved, and what could happen next.
And who needs turkey when you have some Thanksgiving-inspired donuts? We'll take a look at 4 new ones being released by our friends over at Krispy Kreme.
And ahead on GMSA at 6, 8 elementary students fall ill at school after eating suspicious candy. During the process, what the candy had in it and where it came from. That's later on GMSA.
What went wrong inside an apartment here on the west side? Good morning, I'm Katrina Weber. That is what San Antonio police are trying to figure out. It left 2 people with stab wounds. I'll tell you more about it.
And taking a look outside with live cam this morning, we're at 57 degrees and we have fog in some areas. We'll be checking in with Stephen Cavazos about those roadways in a little bit.
And a good morning to you. It's Tuesday, November 9th.
Happy Tuesday. Thanks for joining us. Hope you had a good weekend and a good Monday. Yesterday afternoon, still pretty nice.
It was, so we'll talk to Mike about that. The whiskers coming in nicely. By the way, you saw the banner there for KSAT.com/No Shave November. It does continue.
Yep. Team gray hair. That's my
Sounds like a clan from Game of Thrones or something.
Anyway, hey, off to the east and northeast especially, the fog is really getting thick. It was very thick up around New Braunfels, and now it has definitely invaded around I-35 up to the northeast as well as around Randolph. So 56 degrees, and the dew point's at 55. So when these two numbers get neck and neck, then you have relative humidities well up in the upper 90s and no wind to speak of. A lot of the ingredients to get some of this fog to form up. So nothing at the airport right now. But again, Randolph is down to just about 1/3 of a mile, 1.75 miles. Now it's improved a little bit around New Braunfels, and then it's also dropped down around Castroville, Stinson still at 5 miles. So again, this is one of those, it's only 5:30 right now. We got a long way to go throughout the rest of the morning commute. So this fog is definitely going to be sticking around, but still no advisories have been posted as of yet. 3 miles visibility at Beeville, Victoria, not bad, and we're not seeing anything yet in the hill country. But then, again, just to kind of compare to yesterday, Cotulla Carrizo Springs ended up with a lot of fog as the morning rolled on. 72 at noon, 76 high temperature today. Close to normal, but you're going to kind of feel it with some of the humidity out there, and we'll keep a lot of clouds around tonight. We do have a front moving through. That's going to be early on Thursday, so that will get rid of, ahead of that, it's going to be pretty warm, but the front's going to get rid of the humidity and setting us up for a good-looking weekend. Details on that coming up in just a couple of minutes. Traffic Authority, Stephen Cavazos. I saw over there 35 Evans. Yeah. Like pea soup almost.
It's hard to make out what's going on there at 35 at Evans. We don't really have a clear picture there because of that fog that we're seeing. It looks like it even just got a little bit more thicker as the mornings has gone on here. I-35 at Evans, traffic is moving through there, but obviously drivers are taking it easy out there given the conditions that we're seeing from the shot at TransGuide. Make sure you are taking it slow. We're going to continue to keep our eyes on the roadways here, but let's go ahead and take you to the map because we do want to show that there are some stalls still detected out there to be on the lookout for. I-35 southbound at AT&T Center Parkway. That's been there throughout the morning, so again, make sure you're checking the vehicles because we do have a stall detected here off I-35 northbound at Cesar Chavez Boulevard still out there. So again, these issues could obviously be could be hazardous if people are not taking it easy out there on the roadways. Make sure you're giving those drivers plenty of room to get their situations fixed. But let's go ahead and check out those inbound times because we're not seeing any delays just yet, despite seeing those foggy conditions. Right now, it's still pretty much green across the board if you're going to be traveling to San Antonio in the next few moments. 29 minutes from I-10 in Seguin, 22 minutes coming in from 87 and Livonia, and we're looking at 29 on 37 from Floresville. One last look here at TransGuide 35 at Evans Road. We're going to continue to keep our eyes on this foggy condition right there. There is a little bit of a delay that we're seeing a little further up. That is due to some construction. We'll get to that coming up a little later on in this newscast. Stephanie?
Thank you, Stephen. New this morning, San Antonio police say a couple who parted ways months ago have met up again in the worst way. That man and woman are both in a hospital being treated for stab wounds. Police are calling this an attempted murder and attempted suicide. Katrina Weber is live where it happened at an apartment complex on Marbach Road near Hunt Lane. And Katrina, do police have any idea why this happened?
Well, they haven't shared any of those details with us. They did say that they believe that these two people were a couple at some point, but had broken up about 6 months ago or so. It's also unclear who called police here to the Polo Club apartments late last night, but officers say when they got here after 9:30 last night, they had to break down the door to the woman's home. They say they found the 30-year-old inside her home, barely breathing. Both she and her 37-year-old ex-boyfriend had suffered stab wounds. The police say they are still investigating, but they believe that the man is the one who stabbed the woman and himself. Both of them were in critical condition when they were rushed to a hospital late last night. And police say that they expect they will be filing charges against the man at some point, but it's still unclear exactly which charges they will file. Reporting live on the west side, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
This morning, the back and forth over the federal vaccine mandate debate continues.
CNN's Britt Conway takes a look at the legal battles brewing and what could happen next.
Back. It is the government's job to keep its nation safe.
And forth.
It may not be mandated by the President of the United States unilaterally.
Or can it? The Biden administration has mandated millions of workers get vaccinated against COVID-19 by January 4th. But pushback is building. More than half of U.S. states are suing the administration now, including Louisiana, Mississippi, South Carolina, and Utah, along with a number of businesses who asked the court to block the mandate, saying it constituted federal overreach and risked negatively impacting the workforce. A federal appeals court agreed, temporarily blocking the mandate over the weekend. But the Department of Justice wants it lifted, saying these states and businesses haven't shown that their claimed injuries outweigh the harm of staying a standard that will save thousands of lives and prevent hundreds of thousands of hospitalizations. The White House is confident in its legal authority here.
If OSHA can tell people to wear a hard hat on the job, to be careful on chemicals, it can put in place these simple measures to keep our workers safe.
The Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals promises to expedite the case, but there's been no clarification on whether this would have a nationwide effect. I'm Britt Conway reporting.
Well, like a good neighbor, State Farm is standing by Green Bay quarterback Aaron Rodgers. He says he's not vaccinated and recently contracted COVID, missing his team's game last Sunday. State Farm says it encourages vaccinations but respects Rodgers' decision. According to Apex Marketing, a company that tracks national ad buying, number of State Farm ads featuring Rodgers drastically decreased this past weekend. He was featured in just 1.5% of the nearly 400 State Farm ads that aired on TV Sunday. Apex says that was an unplanned reduction. Packers lost to the Chiefs on Sunday 13-7, and it's unclear if Rodgers is going to play against the Seahawks this coming Sunday.
4 astronauts aboard the SpaceX Crew Dragon capsule splashed down last night off the coast of Florida. It capped off a 6-month stay in space. Their journey home actually started yesterday around 1 p.m. The spacecraft spent nearly 9 hours slowly maneuvering through the orbit before it splashed down in the Gulf of Mexico around 9:30 p.m. Central Time. During their stay in space, they oversaw numerous science experiments and conducted spacewalks. The next SpaceX astronaut launch, called Crew 3, was delayed first by weather issues and then by a minor medical issue with one of the astronauts. NASA says that medical issue is expected to clear up before takeoff, which could happen as soon as tomorrow.
It's now 5:38, about 57 degrees.
And still ahead, a look at how Heinz is developing a Mars version of its iconic ketchup.
And now the U.S. is accepting fully vaccinated foreign travelers at airports and land borders. What that means for the U.S. economy moving forward.
And taking a look outside with a live cam, a little foggy out there and a little bit more humid than it was yesterday, but it's still tolerable. We'll be right back.
Just about 5:42, the U.S. easing travel restrictions for most international travelers.
CNN's Jen Sullivan has a closer look how reopening borders will affect the U.S. economy.
Thank you for having us, America. Bye.
Welcome to America. The U.S. is accepting fully vaccinated foreign travelers at airports and land borders after 20 long months.
This is absolutely one of the key parts of the recovery is restarting the international travel system on which so many of our members depend.
The American Society of Travel Advisors praising the move. International air travelers must have a proof of COVID-19 vaccination and a negative test. Land travelers also required to show proof of vaccination, but no test.
We understand there's going to be some complexities in implementing this. This is a brand new system in terms of verifying vaccination, testing requirements, etc.
The airline industry expecting a major boost. On Monday, 253 international flights were scheduled to arrive at Newark Liberty and John F. Kennedy International Airports. That's up 11% over a similar day in October, according to the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey.
Yeah, first time back since pre-pandemic.
Tourism and hospitality leaders predicting the move will supercharge their industries as they struggle to recover from coronavirus-related closures.
Restoring links with the UK, with EU, with Canada. It's pretty much the most important thing that we can do in terms of helping their business.
The National Retail Federation says U.S. retailers are hoping the return of international travelers may lead to a new wave of spenders and generate more sales as the holiday season quickly approaches. For today's Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
543, still about 57 degrees.
Coming up next, we'll look at some brand new Thanksgiving-inspired donut flavors being released by Krispy Kreme. Welcome back. It's 5:46. In your morning consumer headlines, Krispy Kreme is mixing traditional Thanksgiving flavors with its donuts this year. The company has released 4 new treats for a limited time, including the pecan pie donut. It's a Krispy Kreme original glazed donut dipped in butter tart filling and sprinkled with candied pecans and pie crust crumbles. Probably a lot of calories. There's also a Dutch apple pie donut. It's stuffed with apple pie filling and dipped in caramel icing topped with cinnamon. And what's Thanksgiving without some cranberry? So this donut is filled with cranberry and dipped in cranberry orange icing. Last, there's the Gobbler Donut. I think I like this one. It's a chocolate icing donut shaped like a heart, decorated with chocolate cream and topped with Thanksgiving sprinkles and a turkey smiley face there. But no turkey flavoring, thank goodness.
Have to try them out.
Yeah.
Heinz is unveiling a so-called Martian-grown ketchup. The company said it's made its first Mars edition ketchup made with tomatoes produced on Earth, but in quote-unquote Mars-like conditions. A team of 14 astrobiologists worked on it for 9 months at the Aldrin Space Institute. At the Florida Institute of Technology, they grew the tomatoes in a controlled environment with soil, temperature, and water conditions similar to Mars, but without Matt Damon. It's a joke. The experiment, which has been 2 years in the making, shows the possibility of long-term food production on the red planet. The research team and a former NASA astronaut will be the first to taste the final product. Tomorrow, bad news, Martian ketchup will not be available for purchase. And if you read the book or saw the movie, The Martian, with Matt Damon, remember he was able to successfully grow his own potatoes, but things went sideways when he ran out of ketchup.
Oh, well, I didn't see the movie. I'll take your word
it's
for
good.
it. Yeah,
it's cool. It's cool because there's some really comedic moments to an otherwise kind of a sci-fi action movie.
Yeah. All right. Well, baby steps on that ketchup, though.
Yes, ma'am.
We'll get there eventually.
We will.
For now, we'll check in with Stephen Cavazos because it's pretty foggy out there.
Yeah, we've been continuing to look here at 35 at Evans, where it is very difficult to make out exactly where the roadway is. We are seeing traffic moving through there, not spotting any real big issues at this point that's going to cause delays. But as always, make sure that you're driving carefully out there. Looks like a few more folks are heading out on the roadways, and keep in mind 35 is a very busy corridor. So again, take it easy. It just looks pretty, the conditions there look pretty foggy. So let's take you right here to our map because we still have some stalls that seem to be the trending issue this morning. This one here off Loop 410 eastbound at Evers Road. You can see our map just detected it right there as well. It's not causing any issues on the roadways, but again, that does seem to be the trending issue this morning. Let's take a jump around town because we do want to continue to talk about some construction projects that are going to be going on throughout the month of November. This one will be taking place throughout the entire month. It's some bridge widening construction on 1604. It's led to the alternating full closure of the turnarounds right at Kyle Seal Parkway in both directions. Now, we continue to talk about this every few days or or so, but it's current until Sunday, November 30th. It happens around 9 in the morning to 5 in the after, or 3 in the afternoon, that is. But usually at around 6 a.m., we start to see some of that build up there on 1604. So start looking for those alternative routes this morning. But let's take you up here to 35. There is some road work going on at FM 306 at I-35 northbound. You can see, though, we are seeing a little bit of a buildup in those southbound lanes. Now, this is current, but should be wrapping up on November 12th. It should be happening a little bit later this morning, 8 in the morning to 5 in the afternoon. Wider scope of the map does show, well, it's still pretty green on the screen, but those pesky stalls, be on the lookout for those, and we'll continue to watch this fog here on 35, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Cavazos.
Thank you. Is that the moon back there?
Moon and Venus. Yeah.
Okay.
Really cool. And again, if conditions are right and you can see it probably closer to sunset, if we don't have a whole lot of clouds hanging around, you might be able to see Saturn and Jupiter also in that line. But that's a really, really cool picture. Thank you very much for the KSAT Connect shot. All right, this view hasn't changed all that much. You can see some of the fuzz off there in the distance, although it has changed at Randolph. Visibility is now dropped down to just a quarter mile. New Braunfels down to a half mile right now. Stinson at 5 and some around Castroville. But heading out to the west, the fog is not showing up as of yet. Gonzales has some as well. So the thickest is now right around kind of the heart of our area, right around the metropolitan area, and that's going to be sticking around for the rest of the morning, but no advisories. All right, a lot of kind of low clouds hanging around here, and all this moisture is being pumped in across Mexico from the Pacific Ocean, so that will be sticking around today. Then we're going to start to clear out a little bit more. We'll have some obviously some clouds in the morning tomorrow, and because conditions really aren't going to be changing all that much, probably some fog once again. Then we've got, well, pretty good system off there to the west of us. That's going to help to throw a front through here, but it's not going to come through with a whole lot of fanfare. Yes, it will get rid of the humidity and it will knock temperatures back down to about normal readings, but that'll be about it. It's really not going to produce much of anything as far as any rain. We keep a lot of clouds around today. And then tomorrow we will see some sunshine in the afternoon. That front's going to move through Thursday early. Now, this is that computer model that, again, kind of broad brushes everything. So this looks more encouraging than what it is. It's going to be, again, few and far between at best as far as any rain coming through with that front. But it will clear things out nicely. So we're going to have fantastic weather then going into Thursday, second half of the day, as well as Friday, and the weekend is going to be really nice. We're going to have some cool mornings, nice afternoons this weekend. So that's going to be 3 in a row for just absolutely, I say, perfect fall weekends. All right, today, 72 degrees at noon. We're going to keep a lot of clouds around today, and then high temperature going make it up to 76. So about normal, maybe a few degrees above that, but we'll have a little extra humidity hanging around here. Tomorrow we make it up to 80. It's going to be warm, it's going to be humid, and then Thursday, the front comes through early in the morning. It may squeeze out a sprinkle or two, then we'll clear out throughout the day. So it's going to be a good looking afternoon on Thursday, probably on the breezy side as well. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, real nice. Mid upper 40s, low 70s.
And veterans, we salute you every day, but Thursday is your day. And what's interesting, I think tomorrow is the birthday of the U.S. Marine Corps, followed by Veterans Day on Thursday.
Oh,
we'll check.
There you go.
Yes, but the veterans for sure on Thursday.
5:52, about 57 degrees.
And let's take a look at your winning lotto numbers. We have pick 3, 926, Fireball 3, Daily 4, 8683, Fireball 3.
Cash 5 numbers 9, 18, 21, 26, 34. Texas 2-step 4, 17, 27, 32 with a bonus ball of 2. And Powerball 21, 46, 47, 57, 62. Powerball 8, Power Play 3. Good luck.
Coming up here on GMA, we are live from Iceland. You can see the beautiful landscape, the geothermal energy. They've always been on the cutting edge of renewables here, but now this giant machine, it looks like kind of a villain's lair in a Bond film. Well, this is the world's largest carbon capture machine, taking 4,000 tons of carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere every year. It is just a drop in a very big bucket, but it's some hope and technology and what we can do with the climate crisis. I'll be here telling you that story, but we also have to get to the latest on the Pfizer and the booster shot. There's so much now expected to ask for authorization for everyone 18 and over, and with holiday travel set to soar, vaccine mandates fast approaching, will airports be ready for the surge? We've got that and so much more coming up right here on GMA.
Don't forget about dropping off some shoes at any SAPD substation for our Share the Shoes drive. We teamed up with the police department again to try to gather as many shoes as possible for children in need. We're looking for shoes of all sizes for toddlers to teenagers. All donations will benefit the local nonprofit Good Samaritan Community Services. Next month, just in time for the holidays, you can make donations through November 30th. Glad you're with us on this Tuesday morning. Still to come here on GMSA in our next hour, suspicious candy making 8 elementary students sick after they ate it. What the candy had in it and where it came from. Plus, if you think you can't jazz up your place just because you're renting, think again. The home improvements you can do that won't cause any damage or cost you your deposit. And new information, a deadly stabbing over the weekend. What we've learned this morning. Coming up after the break, checking TransGuide. Fog is one of our issues this morning, and it is thick there at 35 and Topper Wine. Mike is tracking those visibilities this morning, and we'll see if there are any accidents. Coming up at the top of the hour, you're watching GMSA.
Police have arrested a man after he admitted to breaking into 2 Southside restaurants. Good morning, I'm Sarah Costa. Coming up on GMSA, the pattern police recognized of how he would break into these places.
Plus, new details on a deadly stabbing over the weekend that happened near Confluence Park. We'll explain coming up.
And taking a look outside with live cam this morning, kind of foggy in some areas, so be careful out there and a little humid for some of us.
Live from KSAT 12. Good morning, San Antonio starts right now.
Good morning to you. It is Tuesday, November 9th.
Thanks for joining us. Hope you had a great Monday. And even though it's a little more humid this morning, I would say the overall weather looking good this week.
Overall, it is. We've been on for an hour and a half now, and the fog has been getting thicker in some spots. Here's Mike with more.
Yeah, especially around Randolph was at last check, and I say it because, you know, things change. It's like every 10 minutes. It seems like some of the visibilities have been changing around here. And you step outside and you definitely can feel some of the humidity out there. It's not like it's oppressively humid, but a lot more so than what we had just even yesterday and especially over the weekend. And this view is still not bad, but you can see off in the distance where it is starting to kind of get a little thicker. And temperatures are about on average 5, 6, 7 degrees above their respective normals. We're at 56 right now. Should be in the low 50s, 59 at Stinson and mid 50s, both Kelly and Randolph. But it's Randolph where, well, actually that has improved slightly. It's now up to a half-mile visibility, and it's improved somewhat at New Braunfels. But of course, this is going to be sticking around throughout the next few hours, and Stinson has actually dropped down somewhat. So just kind of be on the lookout for that, especially if you're going up I-35. Some of the TransGuide cameras out there, and Steve's going to show you that in a second, but 35 at Evans, it's been fairly soupy. And of course, where there is some fog, there may be just kind of some mist on the roads as well. Nothing in the hill country as of right now as far as fog is concerned. Temperatures are going to be staying pretty steady. I mean, what you see is what you get right now because of the high humidity, because of the cloud cover out there. And we're going to keep a fair amount of clouds around throughout the rest of today, so we'll make it up into the low 70s at noon. And then we top off at 76 later on today, which is in the ballpark of what you would expect this time of year. But again, some humidity out there. It's going to be even warmer tomorrow. Then we have a front moving through early on Thursday. What's that mean for the weekend? It's pretty good. Details coming up in just a couple of minutes. Traffic Authority, here is Stephen Cavazos. What's up?
Hey, thank you, Mike. Well, let's take a look here at Loop 410 at Rolling Ridge. You see some flashing lights out there. And if you take a look right here at this TxDOT digital sign, it does indicate that there is a stalled vehicle out in this direction. And obviously, when you see those emergency vehicles, you know what to do. Follow the rules of the road, move over or slow down. Give them plenty of room to assist that driver, because it does look like stalls seem to be the trending issue this morning. Right now, that stall is detected off Loop 410 eastbound at Evers Road, not causing any delays, but it is 6 a.m., so we do know more folks are going to be getting out on the roadways. Though that trend does continue up here to 281 southbound at Sono Parkway. Another stall detected there. Taking a wider look at the map, that does again seem to be the real issue at this point in time, but there's not really any delays at this point. 35, you can see there's a little bit of a delay there coming in the southbound lanes. That is because there is some construction going on in the north and southbound lanes up there, but be on the lookout for that. But the real issue is going to be that fog, and we'll show you a TransGuide shot in just a moment. The inbound times to the downtown San Antonio area still pretty much green across the board. Pleasant drive from Pleasanton with 29 minutes on 37. If you're coming in from 35 in Lytle, it's just 17 minutes, and Highway 90, 19 minutes at this hour to the downtown San Antonio area. Let's go ahead and show you that fog that just seems to still be looking pretty thick out there off 35 at Evans. Remember to take it slow, avoid those distractions, and drive with those low beams. Mark, Stephanie.
Thank you, Stephen. New this morning, police arrest a man who confessed to them that he is responsible for several break-ins on the city's south side. Sarah Costa joins us live. And Sarah, we understand police said the suspect had a pattern of how he would break into these places. Is that right?
Yeah, good morning, Mark. Police say that man they arrested is wanted for breaking into several locations, and they recognized a pattern. They say that he would break in through the drive-through windows. Just take a look at your screen. This is 25-year-old Jose Marquez. Police arrested him yesterday after an officer saw him walking in a neighborhood on the city's south side near Roosevelt in the San Antonio Missions. The officer recognized him as the man wanted in a handful of burglary cases. When they interviewed him and showed him surveillance photos at those two restaurants, Marquez confessed to police that he did commit those burglaries and several others. The two cases police have charged him with include his most recent break-in from this Saturday at a hometown burger on the city's south side. According to the arrest affidavit, Marquez broke in by prying the bars off of the drive-through window where he told police he stole a laptop from the counter. He also confessed to a break-in at a Southside Bill Miller's barbecue in early October. The arrest affidavit says Marquez broke in, triggered the restaurant alarm, and stole a tablet from that Bill Miller's barbecue on the south side. He was also caught on surveillance video breaking into that Bill Miller's location. He is now facing 2 felony charges of burglary to a building. Live from downtown, I'm Sarah Costa, KSAT 12 News. Mark and Stephanie.
Thank you, Sarah. We have learned the name of a man found stabbed to death outside his home just south of downtown on Sunday. Officials say he was 39-year-old David Salinas. This happened around 1 a.m. on Sunday morning, and officers responded to a call at a home on West Mitchell and King Rodgers streets near Confluence Park. They found Salinas dead on the walkway with stab wounds to his chest. While officers were investigating, they detained 2 people in connection to that stabbing. Charges are pending as the investigation continues.
Houston authorities have now notified all the families of the 8 people who died during the Astroworld Music Festival incident Friday night. Now their full attention on the criminal investigation into how the chaos erupted. Houston police and fire were deeply involved in safety measures for the music festival, where a surging crowd killed those 8 people and injured hundreds of others. A prominent local official is calling for a separate independent review of the tragedy. Experts in crowd safety say an investigation by neutral outsiders could help the city avoid potential conflicts and promote transparency. Police and fire officials played key roles in crowd control measures, on-site security staffing, and the emergency response at the Astroworld Festival.
Today, Metro Health will have a pop-up clinic open on the east side for those who are wanting to get a COVID vaccine or the flu shot. It will be at the Antioch Sports Complex, that's near North Walters and East Houston streets. It will be open from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. The Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson COVID vaccines will be offered, as well as flu shots. You are encouraged to wear a face mask at those clinics. Other pop-up clinics will be open throughout the week.
Redistricting is a complicated process used to determine the political landscape of our state. Here recently, it's been the subject of lawsuits by civil rights groups. Happening tonight, Steve Spriester and Stefania Jimenez will host Out of Bounds: Repercussions from Redistricting. It'll be a live stream. They'll be joined by experts to take a closer look at what redistricting means for our area. That streams tonight at 7 o'clock. You can watch it live on KSAT.com or on our KSAT streaming apps.
And in honor of Veterans Day, the Bexar County Clerk's Office will be hosting free wedding ceremonies for veterans and active members of the military. The ceremonies will be held at 11:30 a.m. and 3 p.m. on Friday at the Bexar County Courthouse. And while the ceremony is free, there is a suggested donation of $20 to help benefit Operation Homefront for military families. We have all that information on our website at KSAT.com.
6:07, about 57 degrees.
And still ahead on GMSA, Cowboys rookie linebacker Micah Parsons had a monster game against the Broncos on Sunday. What he thinks about how much he's grown in just a short time.
One city in Rhode Island excited about a major Disney film being shot in their area. What they hope it brings to their community as well after the break.
And taking a look outside with live cam, it's foggy out there in some parts. Definitely be careful when you hit those roadways, but you may not need a jacket this morning. We'll be right back.
A lot of traffic down here. Usually in November we slow down. Us being a summer destination, we don't have that much traffic going on, so it's really nice to see all the people coming out and getting excited about it.
And the filming of Hocus Pocus 2, bringing visitors and business to Newport, Rhode Island. Film crews have started setting up, and based on the street signs that say Salem Scarefest, it's safe to say the backdrop will be a Halloween-themed festival. None of the big stars have been seen around town, but that might change this week. Local business owners in Newport say they have already noticed an increase in foot traffic in that area. They're excited for their city to be the backdrop of a major Disney film. Hocus Pocus 2 is expected to be released next fall.
Steph said she just caught the original this last weekend?
This weekend. I've been wanting to see it for years. I guess when it came out, it just, wasn't around for me, I guess.
Right.
And I finally got around to seeing it. It was cute.
Well, now you're in a perfect position to review this one when it comes out.
I will be ready to go.
There you go. Let's see if traffic's a go this morning. Here's Stephen Cavazos.
It's another glorious morning on the roadways. No? Hocus Pocus?
Yes.
Okay.
I was just going to ask you if you've seen it.
One of the first movies I remember watching as a kid, so it's definitely have some fond memories. 35 at Evans. It's not looking so glorious out over here, though. We still have those foggy conditions. Looks like traffic is picking up out there, so make sure you are driving carefully. We've been watching this pretty much throughout the entire morning, and it doesn't look like it's cleared up just yet. But again, make sure you're driving with those low beams and avoiding those distractions. Let's take you to the map, because the issues that continue to plague this morning are those stalls as well as that fog. 281 southbound at Sono Parkway. We still have that one detected there, and we have a new one that came up just right here off Loop 410 northbound at State Highway 151. Looks like our map may have picked that up near Marbach, so we'll continue to watch those throughout the morning. And as a reminder, some construction. Let's go ahead and take you up to Kendall County. I-10 eastbound, there's some roadway construction that started yesterday, but should be wrapping up Monday, December 6th, according to TxDOT. Now, this has led to the full closure of the eastbound exit 540 ramp to State Highway 46 or Bandera Road. Now, traffic in the meantime will be diverted to use the US 87 exit ramp and use a scenic loop road turnaround. So just something to be on the lookout for throughout the entire month of November. It's part of the I-10 Kendall extension project, but as we take a wider look at the map, it's still pretty quiet right now on the roadways. And to really end the shot here, we want to pull up a shot at TransGuide if I can here. Oh, looks like it's not there, but let's take a look at Loop 410 at Jackson Keller. Looks like traffic is still moving pretty smooth. We'll continue to keep our eyes on the roadways, guys.
Thank you, Stephen.
That sounds good. And then maybe not a jacket.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those iffy. With all this humidity, though, it tends to be kind of a damp chill because the moisture actually it conducts the heat away from your body. But those TransGuide shots, though, really told story. In some areas, there's a lot of fog. Some areas, there's not much out there. But where there is some of the fog, it could be a little bit damp on the road. So temperatures are going to be staying pretty steady what they are right now in the upper 50s. And again, it's kind of sort of jacket weather, and then 76 high temperature today. We're going to lean toward the cloudier side and definitely on the warm side by a few degrees. And then you got the humidity, which is going to be sticking around. Not oppressively humid, but just enough out there. Another good looking shot of the moon and Venus. And again, if you can catch it just right, probably if we have enough clearing tonight, see Saturn and Jupiter also kind of in that same line with the moon and Venus. So here's what it looks like. We've got a little bit of maybe a little bit of the sunrise out there and a couple of bugs hanging around the camera as well. And visibility is now back down to a quarter mile at New Braunfels, but it's improved slightly at Randolph. Still good out at the airport. Bernie Stage isn't seeing anything right now, but Castroville and Stinson still have some fog. Off to the east, Gonzales has dropped down. So it's primarily along 35 and looks like east of there as far as some of the thicker fog. Temperatures are in the mid and upper 50s. And the humidity, of course, is up there, and that's what gives us, or dew points are up there, and that's what gives us that very high humidity. And actually, dew points are about anywhere from 5-10 degrees higher than what they were even yesterday. And that yesterday was even higher than what they were over the weekend, of course. And we hit 78, 83 in Pleasanton, 81 in Hondo yesterday. And temperatures are going to be about the same, maybe down a couple of degrees, just given the fact that we are going to have some more clouds hanging around here today. So in the neighborhood of what you would expect, a normal high temperature. But of course, we are going to have some of that humidity still hanging around here. So here's what's going on the upper level steering winds, a very kind of flat, as we call it, zonal pattern. But here's this trough, which is this little kink in those upper level winds, which is starting to develop. And that's going to bring the front through late tomorrow night, early on Thursday. We'll get into a nice northwesterly flow. That's going to help to get rid of some of the humidity around here, and that's going to set us up for a good-looking day in the afternoon tomorrow. Thursday afternoon, jumping ahead of myself here, and then also going into the weekend, we're going to have some beautiful weather, and we'll start to see things kind of flatten out a little bit. going into next week. Maybe a couple of little disturbances moving on through here, but more humidity and clouds starting off next week. So 72 degrees today at noon, mostly cloudy skies, and it doesn't mean we won't see any sunshine, but I think we'll lean toward the cloudier side today. 76 high temperature, and humidity, it's not going to be oppressive, but enough out there. Tomorrow, it's going to be very warm. Make it up to 80 degrees, and starting off mild on Thursday, but that front's going to move through. As the front moves through in the wee hours Thursday morning, maybe a couple of sprinkles. I kind of doubt it, though, and then really nice weather after that.
Very good. We are very happy with the forecast.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
In your tech news, stock trading platform Robinhood says it was hit by a data breach that exposed information on millions of customers. The company says hackers demanded a ransom payment, but it says no social security numbers, bank account numbers, or debit card numbers were exposed.
Time check just about 6:18, still about 57 degrees.
And coming up on GMSA, a preview of one of the big high school football playoff matchups between the Johnson Jaguars and the New Braunfels Unicorns, plus how you can watch the game without even leaving the house.
Why hide your skin if Dupixent has your moderate to severe eczema or atopic dermatitis under control?
Hide our skin, not us.
Because Dupixent targets a root cause of eczema, it helps heal your skin from within, keeping you one step ahead of it. And for kids ages 6 and up, that means clearer skin and noticeably less itch.
Hide my skin? Not me.
By helping to control eczema with Dupixent, you can change how their skin looks and feels. And that's the kind of change you notice.
Hide my skin? Not me.
Don't use if you're allergic to Dupixent. Serious allergic reactions can occur, including anaphylaxis, which is severe. Tell your doctor about new or worsening eye problems, such as eye pain or vision changes, or a parasitic infection. If you take asthma medicines, don't change or stop them without talking to your doctor. When you help heal your skin from within, you can show more with less eczema. Talk to your child's eczema specialist about Dupixent, a breakthrough eczema treatment.
In this morning's GMA First Look, with the holidays fast approaching, will airlines and airports have the staff they need to handle the surge in travel? Questions are looming about vaccine mandates and if airports will have enough employees to handle that crush of passengers.
It's a busy time, and it's not likely to ease up as folks come out of the holiday season.
Hoping to smooth out travel, most major airlines in the U.S. are looking to fill positions by the end of the year, some even offering astronomical incentives to employees already on the payroll.
The disruptions, the flight attendant assaults, we said I think it's time to ensure and reward the flight attendants going forward, because it's been a tough 20 months.
And coming up at 7 a.m., we'll have the expert tips you need to know to navigate your holiday travel. With your GMA First Look, I'm Trevor Ault, ABC News, New York.
Pro football coverage, powered by Davis Law Firm.
One of the bright spots of the Cowboys' stunning 30-16 loss to the Denver Broncos Sunday was play of rookie linebacker Micah Parsons. He was a monster on defense, had 2.5 sacks to go along with his 10 tackles, including 3 tackles for a loss. Who knows what the score would have been if Parsons had not stepped up. Now has 3.5 sacks on the year, joining DeMarcus Ware, Victor Butler, and Anthony Spencer as the only Cowboys linebackers to record at least 3 sacks in a rookie season. Parsons is asked how much his game has grown in a short period of time after his first multiple sack game as a pro football player.
It all starts with the details throughout the week. Coach Q puts a lot of time with me throughout the week, dialing up rush plans, dialing up individual time with me. So I think each week I'm getting better and better, and I'm learning more about being a pass rusher, timing, things like that. And I think it's just really growing for me, and it's going to keep adding to our game plan.
Sunday's loss ends the Cowboys' 6-game win streak, and now they host the Falcons on Sunday at noon at AT&T Stadium, where Dallas is a 9-point favorite. The UTSA Roadrunners now 9-0, but just ranked 15th in the country by the AP College Football Poll, moving up only 1 spot from last week, despite that dominating 44-23 win over UTEP on the road. Undefeated this season so far. Roadrunners in pretty good company with number 1 Georgia, number 2 Cincinnati, and number 4 Oklahoma, all 9-0 as well. Now the Roadrunners have very good chances to go 10-0 when they host 1-8 Southern Miss at the Dome this Saturday afternoon at 2:30. one of 2 home games left in the regular season. It'll be interesting to see where the College Football Playoff Committee ranks the Roadrunners later today. This week, the first week of the Texas High School football playoffs, and in our big game coverage features number 3 and undefeated Johnson Jaguars against the number 8 ranked New Braunfels Unicorns. The Jaguars are one of 4 teams to finish the regular season at 10-0, including number 1 ranked Brennan, number 2 ranked Steele, and number 4 Alamo Heights in 12's top 12. The Braunfels Unicorns come in the postseason with an 8-2 record. Their only losses to Smithson Valley and Steele. 2 teams now meet in the bi-district playoffs.
Phenomenal. I mean, just making school history, it's awesome, but knowing the goal we have in mind is all eyes on state, so we don't want to focus on anything else but one game at a time. So this is our mindset going into New Braunfels.
I'm expect us to come hit us in the mouth, and I'm to do the same. Our team's ready. We have a game plan. I trust my coaches. I trust my teammates, and I just know we're going to come out.
They're obviously a great team. They're 10-0. They're in a tough district. They got a lot of athletes. They can find a way to win. Should be a good challenge for us, but we can get it done.
Playing these teams that, usually go far in the district. Our district usually goes far in playoffs, and this competition, really prepares us.
Jaguars host the Unicorns at Heroes Stadium Friday night at 7 o'clock. Our big game is also the KSAT 12 Texas Sports Productions Game of the Week that you can see over the air on Channel 12.2 or on the BGC app. Spurs teamed up with the city of San Antonio to renovate this court at West End Park with a new Spurs-themed court. It's one of 40 Spurs-branded courts and park refurbishments as part of the team's 4-year, $1 million commitment. Both Trey Jones and Zach Collins are on hand. A little help with some basketball clinics that followed.
Being able to affect, kids' lives means the most to us. Like Zach was saying earlier today, it's not about, the player you are, but about the person you are. And I think things like this go much further in people's lives than, whatever we're going to do on the court.
And by the way, the Spurs back home hosting the Kings tomorrow night at 7:30.
Go Spurs, go. Time now 6:26 and about 56 degrees out there. Still ahead on GMSA, how renters can do some renovations to love where they live without costing them their deposit.
And we'll have the latest on an attack on the west side at an apartment complex that happened last night.
San Antonio police say a couple who separated months ago are back in the same place, both being treated in a hospital for stab wounds. Good morning, I'm Katrina Weber. Police say one of them is the suspect. I'll tell you more about it.
The Biden administration has lifted the COVID travel ban for dozens of countries. I'm Micah Parsons reporting in Washington. Coming up, the battle to protect the administration's vaccine mandate.
And the time change has helped us out in the sunrise department. We're seeing the very beginning of our Tuesday morning sunrise. A few clouds hanging around as well.
Yeah, it looks nice out there.
Good morning, everybody. It's Tuesday the 9th.
Thanks for joining us today. Beautiful sunrise out there. And, the weather's not too bad either. It's a little bit more humid than it was yesterday, but we can take it.
And the last couple hours, Mike and Stephen have been tracking some fog in parts of our viewing area.
Yeah, it's very patchy in nature, but where there is fog, it is pretty thick, especially if you're going out I-35, over toward Randolph and heading up in toward New Braunfels. There's nothing out there really at the airport right now. Obviously, a lot of clouds, a couple of breaks here and there, and temperature stands at 56 degrees. Yesterday, we did dip down to 49, and one of the reasons we're not getting any lower this morning as far as temperatures is you can't drop down below what the dew point is, and with those numbers neck and neck, that's why we have very high relative humidity, no wind to speak of, and those are some of the ingredients that are helping with some of this fog. And again, Randolph, a lot of fog, just about 2/3 of a mile. New Braunfels has now dropped down again. So this is the whole back and forth thing that we're dealing with. Stinson's at 4 miles visibility. Same thing, Pleasanton and Castroville. But then out to the west, unlike yesterday, fog is not that much of an issue. Gonzales at 1.25 miles. So most of it obviously is centered right here on the, kind of like along and east of I-35. And that will be sticking around for the next couple of hours. Mold is on the low side. Also, by the way, where there is a little bit of fog, there may be, kind of that mist or some damp roads out there. So patchy fog, mild, about 4 or 5 degrees above normal. Mostly cloudy today with some sunshine thrown in. It will be slightly on the warm side, mid leaning toward the upper 70s, and some of that humidity hanging around here. Even warmer tomorrow. We're going to be looking at 80 degrees. Then a front's going to move through in the wee hours of Thursday morning. It may squeeze out a stray sprinkle here or there. Kind of doubt it. But after that, we are setting up for another fantastic weekend. Details in just a couple of minutes. Traffic Authority, Stephen Cavazos. Still seeing fog on TransGuide?
Yeah, right here off 35 at Evans. We've been showing our viewers this all morning, and if you're just waking up, well, this is a very eerie shot that we're seeing here off 35 at Evans. Looks like we do have a stalled vehicle detected there, as well as some flashing lights, so make sure that you're driving carefully through that area. But it looks like a lot more folks are getting out there this morning. Stalls seem to be the real big issue at this hour. Let's take you to the map, because we have this is the one that was detected here a little bit earlier in the newscast. Loop 410 northbound at Marbach Road, still an issue out over there. And as we continue to take jumps, 281 southbound at Sono Parkway, we do have a stalled vehicle, and it looks like we are also seeing a minor slowdown there in those northbound lanes of 281. So again, just take it easy out there on the roadways, and that trend does continue up here to 35 southbound at Walnut Avenue in New Braunfels. So we have to say, check those vehicles before getting out there this morning. A wider look at the map does show we are seeing a buildup there on 35. You can see some of the orange building in those southbound lanes. Usual spots right now, especially as the morning is getting going. But if you're traveling into the San Antonio area from New Braunfels, right now the drive time is about 30 minutes at this hour. Pretty much green across the board. I do have to say 30 minutes is not a usual time that we see at this hour, so it could be a little bit of a delay, but we'll continue to watch that pretty closely. 35 at Evans, again, that fog continues to just build out there. Make sure you are taking it easy, and we'll continue to keep an eye on the roadways here on GMSA. Mark?
Stephen, thank you. San Antonio police believe a man stabbed his ex-girlfriend, then himself, inside a West Side apartment. Officers found both of them critically wounded late last night inside an apartment on Marbach, not far from Hunt Lane. Our Katrina Weber is there now with a live report. Any update on their conditions, Katrina?
The last word we have from police is that both the man and woman were in critical condition, and they say both of them are being treated at the same hospital. The police found the two people inside that apartment at the Polo Club Apartments late last night. It was after 9:30. They didn't say who called them here, but they did tell us that they had to break down the door of that apartment. Police tell us that the 30-year-old woman was barely breathing when they found her. They say they're still investigating, but they believe that her 37-year-old ex-boyfriend stabbed her and then himself. Both of them, again, rushed to a hospital for treatment. Police say they do expect that the man will face criminal charges. They told us that he did not live at these apartments, that the woman is the one who lived here. And again, police say they do expect him to face charges. They say that they're not sure exactly what led to the stabbings, but at some point he did come over to this home, and then they believe that he stabbed the woman and himself. Reporting live on the West Side, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Katrina. Also new this morning, a man facing charges after police say he broke into his ex-girlfriend's apartment and attacked her. 21-year-old Matthew Garcia was arrested for burglary of a habitation with intent to commit assault. That incident happened back on August 30th. And according to the arrest affidavit, the woman told police her ex-boyfriend kicked the door and broke into her apartment on Pamela Drive while she had a friend over. She said Garcia started fighting with the man and then hit her in the mouth before taking off. The woman's friend also left before officers got there. A neighbor is the one who called police. Officers noticed the injury to the woman's face and damage to the apartment door, which was consistent with her story. She was able to identify Garcia in a photo lineup, and he was arrested.
In your morning headlines, big things happening in the ongoing battle against COVID-19.
Pfizer getting set to seek FDA authorization for its booster shot for people ages 18 and up as soon as this week. And the news comes as the U.S. finally reopens its borders to dozens of countries.
ABC's Ike Ajachi is in Washington with the latest.
Good morning. It was a good day for hundreds of people reuniting with friends and family after those COVID travel restrictions were lifted. Just another milestone passed toward the return to normalcy. For 18 months, Bhavna Patel could only speak to her grandson on FaceTime. Now that American borders are reopening, the promise of actual FaceTime leaves her speechless.
I don't have words. Actually see in person, you don't know. And if they've woken him up and come and, so I said, just don't cry.
Emotional reunions, just like the Patels, seen in airports all over the country after the Biden administration lifted the COVID travel ban. Families and couples reuniting at JFK Airport. Cars in queue at the Canadian border. The return to normalcy fueled by the Biden administration's push to vaccinate. This morning, a U.S. government official telling ABC News Pfizer will seek FDA authorization for its COVID booster shot for everyone 18 and older as soon as this week. This as the Justice Department responds to an appeals court which temporarily blocked enforcement of the Biden administration's rule requiring vaccines or weekly testing for people at companies with at least 100 employees, saying the decision would likely cost dozens or even hundreds of lives per day. The TSA says 40% of its workers are unvaccinated, but a source telling ABC News that the potential firings coming from the November 22nd deadline for federal workers to get the shot won't affect Thanksgiving flights. Micah Parsons, ABC News, Washington.
A 6.2 magnitude earthquake has hit in the Pacific Ocean off the coast of Nicaragua. The quake happened just after midnight local time. The epicenter about 38 miles south of Masachapa. Right now, there have been no immediate reports of damage or deaths, and no tsunami warning was issued.
4 astronauts aboard the Spacex Crew Dragon have returned home, capping off a 6-month stay in space. The journey back started on Thursday afternoon, and the capsule splashed down in the Gulf of Mexico last night. A fleet of rescue ships brought the 4 astronauts to safety. During their stay in space, they oversaw numerous science experiments and conducted spacewalks. The next SpaceX astronaut launch, called Crew 3, was delayed, but NASA said they expect to be clear for takeoff as soon as tomorrow.
8 elementary students falling ill in Maryland after a child gave them drug-laced edibles at recess. Ambulances and police rushed to the elementary school yesterday afternoon in Waldorf, Maryland. The children who got sick are okay. They were treated in an ambulance on school grounds until they could be released to their parents. None of them needed further treatment, but it was a big scare for parents.
Oh my God, my heart was racing so fast. I was actually at the grocery store and I just dropped what I had in the store and came right over.
I was just hoping that it wasn't my children.
Sheriff's Office is investigating what was in the edible gummy candies and how the child got them.
And time now, it's 6:39 and it's about 56 degrees out there.
Renters may not think they have many options when it comes to renovations to their places, but after the break, we'll show you how you can make some home improvements that will not cost you that big deposit. Welcome back. Just about 6:43. Not everyone is a homeowner, but everyone deserves to love where they live.
And in this morning's Ask Angie segment, David Sears talks about some great home projects for renters that won't cost you your deposit.
Renters often think they can't make changes to their space because they don't own it. But there are ways you can update your home, even if it's temporary.
As a renter, I'm always thinking about ways I can make my apartment feel more like me without the risk of losing my security deposit. One of my favorite ways to add character and color to a room is temporary wallpaper. If you prefer to paint, you can. Just plan on repainting it when you leave. Washi tape is another great option for adding an accent wall with pattern and texture, and that is pretty easy to remove.
Brightening up your rental with new light fixtures and window treatments is another great way to add character. Put in LED bulbs to improve energy efficiency and lower your monthly electricity bills. And add some faux chandeliers and bright curtains to make the space brighter and feel bigger.
Shelving and storage is another great way to personalize your rental while also decluttering the space. Floating shelves are a great addition that can add some interest to your walls, or a shelf ladder where you can hang blankets and keep your floor clean. Multi-purpose furniture is key in a rental, a great way to add storage and interest without taking up more space.
If your place has radiators, it also has the perfect spot for additional shelving. There are designs for temporary built-in shelves that will not only cover the radiator safely, but also add extra storage for this project. Make sure to leave space between the radiator and the shelving or cover up. If you're not sure how to install this safely, talk to a pro to avoid any fire hazards.
There are lots of little touches that can make your rental feel more like you. For an example, replace a plain white outlet switch with a patterned, or swap out cabinet hardware for something more modern. You can even put in a different shower head to make your bathroom feel more luxurious. Just be sure to keep the original to replace it when you move out.
If your kitchen needs a refresh, but you're not able to add tiling, you can try peel and stick paper. This will work on any smooth surface and can cover up outdated wall colorings and make your space feel brighter. There are also similar options for flooring. Just remember to check with your landlord if you are making really big changes.
David Sears, KSAT 12 News.
6:45.
Let's go ahead and check in with Stephen Cavazos. Traffic starting to build up.
Yeah, but it's pretty in pink. That's what we're seeing here on the skies there from the shot at TransGuide, but it's still got a little bit of a fog out there. Looks like those drivers are almost driving off into the unknown, but we're going to keep an eye on that spotty fog that we've been seeing throughout the morning. But let's go ahead and take you to the map because those stalls just still are still an issue out there. Loop 410 northbound at Marbach Road. We have that stall detected there. Taking a jump up to 281 southbound Sono Parkway. That stall still detected in that area. And this one here off 35 southbound at Walnut Avenue. That has been the trending issue throughout the morning. Taking a wider look at the map, though, we are starting to see that buildup in the southbound lanes of 35. Morning rush is already here, so we are seeing that buildup. Not a good sign if you're going to be traveling into the downtown San Antonio area. Perhaps in the next few moments, make sure that you pack that patience with a cup of coffee this morning. Also seeing a little bit of a buildup here on US 90, but you can see those stalls are still a pesky issue this morning, but at least the sky is looking pretty here, guys.
That is good news. Also, pretty pictures with you, Mike.
Yes, Mr. McClellan always takes those great shots, and I guess he just took too many, so I had to share them all in one.
We'll take it.
I love it. I know. I love it.
Nice little gallery.
That is great looking. Thank you, of course.
And the common denominator here is the beautiful skies with those kind of wispy clouds again, Mike.
Mm-hmm. And all the different views there along. Or is that looking off in the? Oh, those are all in the same direction, aren't they? Yeah.
Look like they're all west.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Looking at the cloud cover. Thank you very much for that. Great. Okay, beautiful out there. We've got a lot of mid-high clouds hanging around and still some fog. And again, it depends on where you are. You go up 35, you're going to run into some of that around Randolph, New Braunfels, heading further up off to the northeast and off to the east. We're going to see more thick fog, and temperatures are in the mid and upper 50s, low 60s. About 4 or 5 degrees above the average low temperature, the normal low. We're going to keep a lot of clouds around, a lot of this mid and high level cloudiness hanging around here today. And that's going to be the situation into tomorrow morning. Then we're going to start to see, a little bit of sunshine mixed in tomorrow. And late tomorrow night, early Thursday, right along that line right there, that's the front that's going to move on through. And as you can see, you can probably count it on one hand, the couple little sprinkly showers that are going to be popping up along that front, if it indeed does squeeze out any sort of rain. And then it looks like we're going to be clearing out fairly well throughout the day on Thursday, and that's going to set us up for just a great looking weekend around here. Now, as far as the moisture, and you can see the cloud cover, low clouds, this darker shade of gray, and it is the moisture that's coming on in here from the Pacific Ocean, streaming across Mexico, and this is going to be sticking around again throughout most of the day, so we'll have a lot of those mid and high level clouds hanging around throughout the day. Otherwise, it's not a very active pattern right now. Of course, last week when we had that front move through, these upper level wind lines were coming straight down out of the north, and that's not the situation right now. It's more of a zonal pattern. Everything moves kind of straight west to east. We will get this trough kind of coming through here. That's going to pull the front through, or help to push the front, pull it through by Thursday. Set us up for the good looking weekend around here with cool mornings, nice afternoons, plenty of sunshine. Then it sort of flattens out a little bit more as we head on into the first part of next week. We'll see a little more humidity coming on in here, more clouds, maybe some rain chances by late Monday, Tuesday of next week. Mostly cloudy skies today, 72 degrees at noon, and a high temperature going to make it up into the mid 70s. I think maybe down a degree or two from yesterday just because of the extra cloud cover around here, and we'll still have some of the humidity hanging around. Tomorrow we are even warmer in the morning, staying at 61, and then make it up to 80. By the way, that'd be the first. We have not hit 80 this month, which is nice. I think that's going to end, though, tomorrow. And then the front comes through here. 72 for a high on Thursday. And like I said, a beautiful weekend is shaping up. Those cool mornings, nice afternoons.
Well, like you've been saying, this string of great weekends continues.
This will be 3 in a row now. Beautiful fall weekends.
We will take it all.
Love it.
I agree.
Thank you, Mike. Time now, 6:49 and about 56 degrees out there.
How one man went from military member to muralist. I'm Katrina Weber. His story's tomorrow on Gmsa.
Outside with live cam, sunrise in progress. It's a pretty one, too, on your early Tuesday morning. More traffic coming up as far as updates with Stephen coming up next.
Coming up here on GMA. We are live from Iceland. You can see the beautiful landscape, the geothermal energy. They've always been on the cutting edge of renewables here, but now this giant machine, it looks like kind of a villain's lair in a Bond film. Well, this is the world's largest carbon capture machine, taking 4,000 tons of carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere every year. It is just a drop in a very big bucket, but it's some hope and technology and what we can do with the climate crisis. I'll be here telling you that story, but we also have to get to the latest on the Pfizer and the booster shot. There's so much now expected to ask for authorization for everyone 18 and over, and with holiday travel set to soar, vaccine mandates fast approaching, will airports be ready for the surge? We've got that and so much more coming up right here on GMA.
Problems between a man and woman have led to a fight for life. Good morning, I'm Katrina Weber. San Antonio police tell us that both of those people are in critical condition with stab wounds. This is after what happened inside the woman's home at the Polo Club Apartments late last night. Police found both of them here in the 8700 block of Marbach Road, suffering from stab wounds. Officers say they had to break down the door when they arrived after 9:30 last night. They say they're still investigating, but they believe the 30-year-old woman's ex-boyfriend showed up at some point, then ended up stabbing both her and himself. Both of them were rushed to a hospital. Police say the woman was barely breathing at the time. Now, the 37-year-old man is expected to face criminal charges, but police say they are still trying to determine which charges he will face. Reporting from the West Side, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Coming up later this morning on Gmsa at 9, Cass Tech High School officially launching their early college academy in partnership with UTSA.
It will allow Cass Tech students to earn transferable college credits, as well as give them the opportunity to take their first college course for the major they want to go into while still in high school.
Tiffany Huertas will be live at 9 for the official launch, so make sure that you join us then.
For now, let's go ahead and check in with Stephen Cavazos.
Well, we still have that fog off 35. It doesn't look like it's cleared up just yet, but traffic is moving through there as stop and go traffic. Really, you can see some delays that we're starting to see in those southbound lanes of 35. Let's take you right to the map. There is a stall off I-35 at Walnut Avenue in the southbound lanes in New Braunfels, but we're seeing the bigger delay here off those southbound lanes at FM 1103 with traffic moving at 20 miles per hour. Wider scope does show that congestion is starting to build up around town, and taking you right to those inbound times. 40-minute delay to the downtown San Antonio area, Mike. It's been a pretty foggy morning out there.
Yeah, and again, depending on where you are. Now, this picture, if you think it's gotten a little bit fuzzier, technically it has. Visibility has dropped a little bit there at the airport. Still a third of a mile. Randolph, New Braunfels, 3/4 of a mile. And this will be sticking around for the next couple of hours. We're in the mid and upper 50s right now. 72 at noon, 76 high temperature. A lot of these mid-high clouds will be hanging around throughout the day today. Tomorrow, even warmer. Then a front comes through Thursday. Sets us up for a great-looking weekend.
All right, guys, thank you so much. Everybody, thanks so much for watching.
Thank you for joining us, and have a great day, but we'll see you back here at 9.
Good Morning America is coming up next, right here on KSAT 12.